What's up guys, welcome to another episode of The Block is Hot. In this episode, we are doing a combined video of both this week's best upcoming CNFT mints as well as the CNFT market updates. And there are a lot of things to talk about in this episode, guys, and you guys will see in a few minutes here of why I am combining both videos. But yes, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, guys, how is the overall CNFT market looking like? And to be honest with you guys, it isn't looking too good. We were having some really nice peaks as far as secondary market volume went because of Eikonikos and because of Cornucopias. But now this past week, we have been dropping significantly in volume and have gone all the way down to this 1.2 million to 1.1 million to only 1.1 million again on the 12th. And today we've already experienced a sharp decrease in volume. And one of the reasons for this, guys, is that the whole entire crypto market has been going to shit. And if you watch my whole entire video about the Steel hard fork, I said that this is the worst situation. This is the worst thing possible to happen. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. There has been little to no support, and so many things are being sold, and so many things are being liquidated, and so many people that were over leveraged are now having to cover their positions. And with the increase of price of living, a lot of people are having to sell their investments in order to just pay their bills. So it's really unfortunate that this is what happened. And that's one of the reasons, guys, I said to always have money on the side and not be over leveraged in any one thing. Now, when it comes to NFTs and when it comes to crypto, I am unbelievably bullish in the long run. But my big fear is now, guys, is that if we don't see a recovery soon or a reversal soon, we may see double whammy losses when it comes to NFTs. And I was talking about it a little bit in my last video about the Vasil hard fork, but whenever the actual price of crypto drops drastically like it is right now, you can sometimes have double losses when it comes to NFTs. Because in order for you to be able to get out of your NFT and be able to get that ADA to sell your ADA because people are panicking and want to get out, you have to sell your NFT. Well, what happens, guys, is all of a sudden you have a lot of people that are trying to sell their NFTs and you don't have a lot of people buying NFTs. So now all of a sudden, not only does your NFT lose its ADA value because so many people are trying to sell, but ADA is also going down, so you get double losses. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that's going to happen in this situation. You are already starting to see it a little bit in some of the smaller CNFT projects, but this is just a warning to everyone here that you have to make sure that you're never over leveraged in any one thing. And personally, when it comes to the actual market right now, I am not minting any new projects. And it really sucks because I'm trying to release my own project and I made a whole entire announcement about that in the Discord saying that I'm okay with delaying it because I don't want to launch in a bad market situation. But right now, guys, I am not minting any new projects. So there's no point for me to talk about upcoming mints. And this is a prime example right here of a project that I was unbelievably confident on that only had 2,500 NFTs at 60 ADA and had really great art and a good website, and they had a ton of engagement. And even though they did have a bad mint as far as like the tech side of things, there were some hiccups, they still haven't sold out to the best of my knowledge because they have 2,500 of these NFTs. So if a project like this doesn't sell out and doesn't do well, then why am I going to waste my ADA going for these different projects? Right now, the strategy is going to be getting into some of these major blue chips that you really like, that you really believe in, and holding for the long run. If you're trying to get into a project right now and you don't think they're going to be around in 5 years and 10 years, then I highly recommend to not get into that project and to potentially get out of it. Because if the situation does get worse, and if NFTs go down a lot more, and if crypto goes down a lot more, you got to be willing to hold this for a long time, guys. And that's why I really do believe a lot of these smaller projects have simply been getting sold, and some of the bigger projects such as Clay Nation have been getting bought more. As far as what I'm currently doing, I have sold some of my CNFTs, especially some of the smaller ones, and I'm having that money in ADA. I'm a lot more confident in ADA in the long run than potentially some of these smaller projects that might just dip if things get bad, because some of these projects we don't even know the owners of. I also took some of that ADA and put more of my money into USDC so that I can can slowly average into some of these different projects. Yes, we can have a reversal, guys. Yes, this could be the bottom and we go up a lot, but there are just so many things happening in the world and in the macro economy, and I want to make sure I'm not over leveraged into any one thing. And I did find personally that I was over leveraging into CNFTs, at least in the short term, guys. I'm still holding a lot of my CNFTs. I'm still holding the majority of them, especially projects I believe in, and these are going to be holds that I just hold the long run because I always knew that in the short term things could get bad. But in my personal opinion, I was like, I have too much of my money into this. I need to sell some. I need to have some liquid in case things do get worse. Because worst case scenario, guys, if Cardano all of a sudden or ADA all of a sudden goes down to 10 cents or 3 cents or something very bearish like that, if we go into a massive recession, not trying to cause fear or anything, I'm just trying to, explain that that's always a possibility, then I don't want to be caught lacking, not having any money to invest in it, right? Because that's what happened years ago when Cardano was only 2 cents and now people were able to become millionaires out of it. It really took you having the money when other people didn't have the money though. So just like a thing to think about, guys, if you're in a position right now where you literally can't pay your rent unless you sell some CNFTs, now is the time to probably take some off the table, even though in the short term we could have a run up, and in the long term I am very bullish. The last point that I want to bring up here that's kind of a counter argument to my own point here is that usually it makes sense to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So when everyone is selling, usually that is the time to buy. And I'll tell you what, guys, there are a ton of steals in the CNFT market. The only reason that, once again, I did sell some of my NFTs is because I did feel like I was over leveraged, and I do personally believe that in the short term we are going to go lower. I haven't seen any support in the crypto market. I don't like how the macro market looks, and I genuinely think that a lot of this volume is starting to slow down in CNFTs. And last time this happened with NFTs, a lot of these projects dropped a decent amount in price, and I didn't want to be over leveraged, at least in the short term, if that did happen. But now to our top 10 list. Coming in at number 1, we have the Cornucopias Land sale. Number 2 is Spacebudz. 3 is Boss Cat Rocket Club. Pavia is coming in at number 4. Then we have Chilled Kongs, Clay Nation by Claymates, Pitches at Clay Nation, Degenerats, which is our 8th project on the list. Then you have Ape Society, and number 10 is Clay Nation x Good Charlotte. So literally 3 out of the top 10 are Clay Nation, which is pretty insane. The first project on our list today, guys, is the Cornucopias Land sale, and they have already had 7.68 million ADA worth of volume in the secondary market within the past 10 days, which is honestly insane, guys. Now, I'm super bullish on this land in the long term, and even though I did sell some of my land just because I had bought so much land, I'm still holding a decent amount of it as a long-term investment. If you go to their Cornucopias little wiki page, I'll actually have the link in the description of this video, you're gonna actually be able to see the different land utility plus the rewards, the staking, plot location, all of that stuff. But just to summarize it for you guys, we have all these different plots of land varying in sizes and rarity. The bigger your land, the more square meters, the more you're gonna be able to do with it. The more rare your land, the better your pick of where your land is actually going to be. As far as utility for this land though, you are going to be getting different airdrops that are going to give you building materials for you to build these different houses and these different businesses. You're going to have harvesting tools for your farms. You're going to have crafting tools in order to build different things, build different items. And you're also going to have different pets, mounts, and outfits. Now, players can actually build these residential houses and they can live and store their NFTs in them. You can upgrade them to expand their utility. Really cool stuff. Now, what I really like about this whole land thing and what I like about the javelins and the jets is that you're actually going to be able to make some passive income from this. You're going to be able to farm it or allow others to farm on it and make money that way. You're going to be able to rent out your different equipment. You're going to get income from the workshops and the marketplace. You're even going to be able to stake your land in order to get tokens. And there's going to be different district competitions that I'm sure are going to have various benefits. Now, when it comes to the rarity significance of this land, you're actually going to have priority depending on how rare your land is to basically pick where you want it to be. So features that could help you with your farming or your different aspects of the game could be water or different mines or different views. And this is going to have a big impact on just how valuable your land is going to be in the game. And you're even going to be able to strategically plan out where you want each claim to be, which is super, super cool. The more rare your land, the more priority you're going to get in this decision, which is pretty dope. And then we're also saying here that it's also going to allow you to play the game earlier than other people as well. And if you actually look at their whole entire roadmap of when they're trying to release stuff, the actual gameplay is slated to release this quarter. So we could potentially see the actual gameplay as well as the different staking and rewards come out as soon as the next 3 to 6 months, which is actually very, very soon compared to a lot of other metaverse projects out there. In my personal opinion, guys, I do think that land size is going to matter more than the actual rarity. Yes, it's cool to be able to play that game a little bit earlier, figure things out, get your staking, all that stuff. Yes, it would be nice to put your basically land in a good location, but I think just having a bigger plot of land is going to have more benefits. And some of this is just speculation. Some of this we just need to wait and see what they end up saying so that we can make a better educated decision. But right now, I do think having the bigger plots are a better move versus getting a smaller plot that is more rare. A lot of these prices have been holding up pretty well, guys. And if you aren't too sure what exactly you want to do, maybe it's a situation where you diversify by getting different land sizes and getting different land rarities. The next project on our list today is Spacebudz, and they are currently holding around a 6,000 ADA floor. Now, Spacebudz are the Bitcoin of the CNFT space, and it's probably going to be the safest or most reliable investment as far as a long term. If you're a believer in CNFTs as a long-term investment, but you're a little bit worried about the short-term market fluctuations, then getting into something like a Spacebudz makes the most sense. Because if CNFTs do end up being a lot bigger in the future, let's say a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you know that Spacebudz is going to be one of those projects that stays relevant just because of its OG-ness, just because of the whole narrative behind Spacebudz. Whereas some of these other smaller projects, you can't say the same about. So my whole thing and my whole strategy when it comes to this whole entire CNFT thing right now, guys, when there's so much uncertainty, get into some of these blue chips. Because I'll tell you what, man, I don't know if a project that came out 3 months ago that doesn't have a docs team is going to be around in another 5-10 years, and maybe we're in a recession for 2 years, or maybe we get even worse and we're in a massive depression, right? But I do know that Spacebudz are always going to be around, and that's why I think a lot of people are buying Spacebudz recently. They know that this is the safest option as far as a bet in the overall space. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about Spacebudz. Next project on the list is Bosscat Rocket Club, and I mentioned in last week's video that Bosscat Rocket Club actually has a lot of different things coming up. They're dropping these aliens. There's going to be 3,000 in number, and every single person that has a completed rocket or a top 1,000 boss cat is going to get airdropped one of these aliens for free, which is another additional nice utility. The remaining 888 are also going to be raffled to different people that own some of these OG boss cats or some of the parts as well, which is nice. They were also saying that the pre-alpha or the gameplay should come out sometime in the next month, which is insane. And they are going to have their token where all of the different basically NFTs in their ecosystem are going to be able to generate this token. So it seems like a lot of stuff is going on with this planet, guys. They even mentioned that they're building their own battle royale called Boss Moon that's supposed to come out soon. Definitely a lot of stuff going on. I want to be able to pick one of these up pretty soon here, just because I do think that they're undervalued, and I think they have a lot of stuff releasing soon, and I think that this is one of those OG projects which has at least shown us that they're constantly working. Next project on the list is Pavia. Pavia is currently at a 200 ADA floor, and it's actually been a while since Pavia was in the top 10 spots. I feel like I haven't seen Pavia there for a while, simply because a lot of other metaverses have kind of stolen the shine from Pavia in a way. I went on their Discord and I was looking through announcements to see if anything major was announced or any major development came about, and I really wasn't able to see anything, guys. So I don't know why there was so much volume in this past week. Maybe someone can educate escape me, but for me personally, Pavia is not as good as some of these other projects that I've been seeing, such as Cornucopias. For me, I'd rather have a small Cornucopias plot for 200 than to have a Pavia plot, and that's just because of everything that I've been seeing from the Cornucopias team, all of their transparency. We know a lot of this stuff is coming out soon. We know this is being built on Unreal Engine, which looks a lot better than some of the stuff I've seen with Pavia so far, and that's why I would prioritize personally Cornucopias over Pavia. Next project on the list is Chilled Kongs. The reason that I wanted to bring up Chilled Kongs 2 is they're actually delaying their Magic Kongs with all the trippy shrooms for a little bit longer. They were saying that this could potentially come out in July or August, and that they've been spending a lot of time and a lot of resources on really making them look good. So I'm excited to see what they actually look like. If they look absolutely awesome, then I'm sure that this project is going to explode. They were also bringing up that in Q4 of this year, they're trying to have their whole garage, as well as 3D Kongs and their Kong token. So pretty exciting stuff. I think 2,500 ADA isn't a bad price, and once again, this is an OG blue chip, which will probably last a lot longer than other projects out there. So not a bad price. I think if things can get worse in the short term, maybe it goes down to about 2,000 ADA. Next project on the list is Clay Nation, and one of the reasons Clay Nation has 3 out of the 10 projects as far as volume this week is that they're finally releasing their clay paper that's going to have all the updated information about their pitches as well as their clay token, and they're actually doing this on the 14th, which is tomorrow, and that's why I think that they've maintained their price, even though pretty much everything has been going down in the market. Even when you look at the pitches, guys, they have been maintaining the same 400 ADA level floor for their small pieces for this whole entire Baked Nation and Sonic Village. I actually think this isn't Sonic Village. Sonic Village is actually worth a little bit more. But yes, I'm bullish on these pitches. I'm bullish on Clay Nation. Once again, another blue chip that you can have long-term confidence in. I have sold some of my pitches just because, like I said, guys, I was over leveraged in CNFTs in my personal opinion, and I needed to take some off of the table. But personally, once again, if you've been watching this for a while, I do think that these Baked Nation pitches are going to be the most valuable in my opinion. I mean, any Snoop Dogg collab where they do a PFP where you have to own one of these Baked Nation pitches, I mean, I could see that absolutely exploding once we get more information on that. Next project on the list is a project that just came out recently, and that is Degenerats. This is a project I haven't really done a deep dive on. I did check out their website, and it looked good, and the actual art looks good as well. For me, guys, I am not buying any project that's just coming out or is just minting. Once again, it really sucks because I'm trying to launch my own project, but you got to know the market, and you got to adapt with the market, and you are going to get burned getting into a lot of new projects, and that is just me being completely honest with you guys. Now's not the time to be getting into a bunch of new shit. I wish it was, but now is not the time. Now is the time to get into some bigger projects that you know are going to last for the long term in case things hit the fan even more. Next project here is the Ape Society. They're currently at 1,866 ADA. Once again, another blue chip, and that's why we're seeing so much volume go into these blue chips recently. People are going to those safer options rather than some of those smaller options. Nothing really crazy has happened recently with Ape Society besides the fact that you can actually go on MinSwap right now and farm with their Society token, which is absolutely dope. Clay Nation X Good Charlotte, once again, another Clay Nation piece that they have this big news and announcement tomorrow. In my personal opinion, I like selling on the news, so maybe I would have already sold this, but Clay Nation is a totally different ecosystem, guys. They have some of the most hardcore followers, some of the most hardcore holders. So honestly, in this situation, I probably would hold it and just see what news they drop, see what they've been working on, because people don't sell their Clay Nations. It's insane, guys. Now, as far as outside of the top 10, I did want to bring up Eikonikos. On the 20th of this month, they're actually going to have a Twitter Space AMA where they're going over their roadmap and they're going to give us some more details about what happens. I do think that they released for a little bit too much ADA, and that's why I'm glad that they did burn about 9,000 of their passports that they were going to make. I personally have sold some of my passports. I'm going to be holding onto some of the others, and I'm curious to see what they say. They've definitely had a lot of high production stuff, so I would think they have some pretty big things planned. So definitely something to keep your eye on. I like keeping my eye on stuff that a lot of people aren't keeping their eye on, and this could be a sleeper play if what they say is pretty nuts in that AMA. Next project here is Spacebudz Alpha. Now, I actually just did an interview with Adam live, so thank you for tuning into that if you haven't, but they actually just announced their next project, which is collabing with 15 other projects, and we're actually one of those projects at the Block Investment Group with Jelly Cubes. They're basically going to have all these different cards with these different starter hands, and if you have one of these cards, you're actually going to be able to play poker using the Cardano Crocs Club poker system that they just created. You're either going to need one of their cards or you're going to need one of their Crocs, and you're going to be able to play against other players, do different tournaments, and get tokens as a result. Now, when it comes to their actual cards, you do need to have one of these Spacebudz in order to be whitelisted, or you have to get a whitelisting from one of the 15 projects that they collab with. Every single one of those projects are going to have 400 whitelists to give away, myself included. So make sure to join the community Discord if you're interested in getting into the project. One interesting thing they are doing with those cards too, guys, is that if you own 10 of those cards, 80% of all the royalties are going to be split to you and whoever else has at least 10 cards. And they are having a 10% royalty. So definitely something to pay attention to. I like Adam a lot. He is a grinder. He is a hard worker. And I do think that these Spacebudz, as well as those cards, could potentially do well. Next project on the list is the Mandrillz. The Mandrillz are constantly dropping little hints and little lore, guys, of what they're about to do. I still have no idea what they're about to do, but there is a lot of stuff coming up, so definitely a project to pay attention to. Next thing here is Smooth Yeti Mountain Club. The reason that I wanted to bring up Smooth Yeti is that once again, they have already announced their whitelist details for their whole Yetiverse land, and even though I'm not big on minting stuff right now, guys, just the news of that could send this price in an upwards trajectory, I would say, especially since they're claiming that they're doing some pretty unique stuff that hasn't been done before. I have sold some of my Smooth Yetis. I still have a decent amount I'm holding though, as well as a decent amount of snowmobiles, so keeping an eye on that. Next thing here is Mad Dog Car Club, and what the actual hell, guys. I was not expecting these parts to look like this. I am honestly really shocked, because the different videos that they made seemed really cool and it seemed pretty hype, and then all of a sudden they dropped this for their whole entire car collection and only sold 50% of them, and now it's going under mint price. I don't know why, if you already had a successful mint with Mad Dog Car Club, that they didn't pay an artist to do a much better job. I mean, why are these engines in these different crate boxes, guys? There's just so many different questions to talk about, and that's one of the reasons, and I don't like crapping on projects, but that's one of the reasons that when Mad Dog Car Club was minting, I was like, hey guys, this is a quick flip situation for me. I think there's a lot of hype and I don't think it looks too insane to me. Yet a lot of people gave me crap for that, and now these Mad Dogs are about 60 ADA. I did think that these parts were worth going for. I do like the idea of the different game they're making where you can race these cars for tokens and that whole thing. I was like, yeah, that's a really great idea, but I'm just not sure why they didn't take more time on making this art look better. Next project that I wanted to bring up here is Lazy Llamas. I haven't talked about this project in a while, but they have a really strong community, guys. And on the 15th, they're actually going to have a faucet for you to be able to get their lazy tokens. So that's just another reason to maybe hold your llamas. You can, get these different tokens dispensed to you. I'm sure they'll use like drip drops or something like that. And maybe that ends up being a valuable token in the future. Next project here is Ape Invadaz Season 1. They're actually releasing details here. And let me see where I wrote it down, but they're basically releasing more details about their Senate nodes, and they're actually taking a snapshot on the 17th. So not only are they doing their holder benefits this week, like the 14th or 15th, they're doing a snapshot where potentially you can win ADA and these different prizes, but they're also doing a snapshot to see how many of these ADA Invadaz you hold on the 17th. And depending on how many you hold is going to put you in a different whitelist section for their Senate nodes. And their Senate nodes are going to have a lot of different utilities, guys, including royalty sharing, as well as whitelist for different things, as well as governance. They also have trait wars going on. A lot of stuff with this project, guys. I really like ADA Invadaz a lot. I sold a couple just because, once again, guys, I am trying to take some ADA off the table, but I do think this is one of those projects that could do really well in the long term. Next project here is Mutant Crocs. Now, Mutant Crocs, Toads, and their mice have been doing really, really well recently. And the whole reason is, guys, is because they're launching their staking system sometime late July, where any project can actually use their staking system in order to give tokens to their project owners. This is actually something that I'm doing, as well as like 19 or 20 other projects that have already signed up. Now, the catch is that you have to own 9 of these mutants as a project owner in order for these to be, in order for your project to be staked. And the whole thing is a lot of these projects have had to been buying 9, and you have to have at least 1 croc, 1 tote, and 1 mouse staking. So it's one of those situations, guys, where not only are they going to make a ton of money off of these ADA transaction fees from all these projects claiming their token, but they're providing a huge utility to the space, and you're going to have a lot of project owners buy them, and they already had a super strong and super diamond-handed community, plus they're having a game in the future, plus they're just doing a lot. And after having a conversation with Andy, I am bullish on the project, and I'm honestly pissed at myself for not buying more. I waited until buying those 9 because I was one of the first people to talk to him, and they went up 40% as a result before I was actually able to buy the 9. So definitely bullish on this project, and I think they're really going to rake money in. The only worry that I have with this project is because it's all smart contracts, that potentially it could be hacked. And imagine having 25, 30 projects all staking all their NFTs, and then all of a sudden, that whole entire platform getting hacked and people getting their NFTs stolen. Now, they have been doing a ton of stuff, the security-wise, to make sure that doesn't happen, and I personally am not a tech wizard where I know what is and isn't possible, but I do know whenever you have a lot of money available, there are going to be people that are looking to take advantage, and if, God forbid, that ever happened, then the whole project is just done for. So that's a whole what if thing. Hopefully that would never be something to happen, but I did want to bring that up, guys, that is one small fear that I do have with the project. Now, the last project on our list is Ape Ninjaz, and they actually have their game coming out, their alpha game coming out on the 17th, guys. And once again, if you want to watch that interview that I had with the owner or one of the owners, you'll see that they have a ton of stuff coming up, as well as a ninja burn where they're destroying a lot of these ninjas. There's going to be the ninja token. There's this whole gameplay thing. There's going to be all these aspects and utilities within the game. It's going to be pretty nuts. And because of that, you did see a run up on some of these ADA Ninjas, and I believe some of their other ones went up a little bit as well, but they still are below that 60 ADA level. So the Tusku are going for 40, and then you have the Daisaki, which I actually think look the best around the same price as this, and they're all going to have different benefits and different advantages in the game. So definitely a project to keep your eyes on. I think that they just have so much supply, between like 25,000 of these ninjas, that once they do start doing those burns and have those different benefits, that this could be a project that goes up. As far as what I've been doing this week, guys, I mentioned earlier that I have been selling some of my CNFTs. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm over leveraged into something, and I really was over leveraged, especially throughout all my wallets, because I'm just so passionate and honestly obsessive over NFTs, and sometimes I find myself, over leveraging my money to the point where now if there's a really good juicy situation, maybe I didn't have enough money to really take advantage of that, and you always have to have money on the side. So I've personally sold some stuff, especially stuff that I didn't believe was going to be around in 5 to 10 years. I really looked at the different NFTs I had and I said, is this going to be around in 5, 10 years? Okay, if it's not, then I need to make sure that I at least sell some of it, because if we do get into a horrible situation, guys, where volume really drops with NFTs and crypto continues to drop, then I don't want to be burned on these different projects. But projects like Blue Chips, projects like Clay Nation, I know that CNFTs I am very bullish on in the long term, and that eventually we will be in a bull market again. What projects are going to last until that next bull market phase? It's going to be projects like Clay Nation. So my whole recommendation right now, don't freak out. Check the NFTs that you believe in, maybe sell some of the NFTs that you don't believe in, and either put that money on the side so that you can rebuy in if we do get lower, or start putting that money into blue chips that you have a confident feeling that they're going to be around for the long run. All that being said though, I hope that this is the bottom now. I hope that the big money is deciding to flip this. I hope that we reverse now, and I hope that by the end of the month, we can actually launch Jelly Cubes in a good market. And just to talk a little bit more about Jelly Cubes, Cubes and about the Block Investment Group, I am not going to launch this project, guys, if I am not confident that it's going to do well on the secondary, as well as us have enough money to really be able to deliver on our promises. And if the market continues to go the way it's going and a lot of good projects aren't selling out, then we are either going to have to postpone the project, or we're going to have to drop the amount that we're minting even lower than 2,500, which is already limited, or we're going to have to reduce the price. I have no idea, but I don't want to launch a project and then all of a sudden people lose money on it after they just believed in me and believed in the team and believed in the idea, simply because the market isn't good for it. And I also don't want to charge so little ADA that now all of a sudden I can't deliver on any of the promises that I said we were going to do. And I also don't want to launch the project and have this whole entire alpha group and a lot of benefits when it comes to the NFT and crypto space, when the NFT and crypto space is doing really poorly. So it's going to be one of those things that we're going to kind of play it by year. We're going to do business as usual right now and continue to market and continue to get exposure and hope that we really did bottom here, and then we'll be in a prime position to actually launch at the end of the month. But if we're not in that position, guys, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to do that to everyone that's been loyal, everyone that's been supportive, even though it's been really hard on me as someone that has been putting a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources into this project. And my whole fear with the whole postponing things, guys, is who knows when the market could get better. What if we went into a really bad situation where it takes a year? Now all of a sudden I've been paying people this whole entire time waiting for a golden opportunity that might take way too long to come out. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to figure out different things. Maybe we just have a video where we talk about the lower expectations, especially in the beginning, because we would be launching in a bear market and there might not be a lot of opportunities getting into these different plays, but there's still going to be that opportunity of, hey guys, a lot of stuff is really devalued. Maybe we can kind of pool our money together and find different opportunities of things that we can get into now and hold for a couple years. But then once again, people are expecting a short-term gain on a monthly basis with their points. So that's something that we're going to have to talk about. But overall, it's going to be something that's with the community. I just wanted to mention in this video, like, we are only going to launch if it makes sense for everyone, not just because it makes sense to me. But yeah, if you're not following already, the Jelly Cubes or the Block Investment Group are in the Block Discord. Make sure to do that, guys. Make sure you're staking to the Block Investment Group to help us out. And I hope that everything goes up here because I know a lot of people are hurting right now, myself included. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.